Greetings and salutations, fellow DMs, adventurers, and gamers of every type. It is I, the Dungeon Master, here once again to answer your questions and help guide you on your quest to become the greatest DM you can be. Today, we're going to be answering another question from the boards. This one is how to encourage role-playing between characters, asked by Jason Gonzalez. I feel that this is another really great question, and really it was worded properly because that's exactly the advice that I want to give to everybody out there looking to encourage role playing. You don't want to punish a lack of role playing. That is going to alienate newer players who might not be as comfortable with role playing, as well as a certain percentage of the gaming population that, for whatever reasons, either they're less comfortable with role playing or they prefer a different type of game. You're going to alienate them if all you ever do is reward the role players and or punish the non-role players. You can do that in a number of ways. If you give role players more experience for role playing, you are in effect punishing players who don't role play. Something that needs to be avoided, in my opinion, and a lot of the members of the forum are definitely in agreement with that. That you don't want to punish people who don't role play. But the question is, how do you encourage the role playing then without punishing those who aren't doing it? And I've found that the best way of doing that is by adding a little extra flavor, side quests, things like that that can give some reward, some in-game, reaction to the role playing. Now, if you're talking specifically between the party, the best way I've found to get players to role play with each other is to give them backgrounds that tie them together and have a pre-set, story that they can play off of. Something as simple as one of the members of the party knows another member of the party because they fought with their parents in a war long ago, and so now they view them as sort of a protected guardianship relationship, and so there can be some encouragement of role playing in that regards. I saw some of the responses to this. Somebody said you could have one of the characters owe another one of the characters money. I thought that was a pretty good suggestion. Certainly, any kind of ties like that to where they're all part of the same guild or something like that can help to give them something to talk about. And then also just dropping in role-playing opportunities is going to help encourage that as well. And what I mean by role-playing opportunities is giving them a task or mission that is more difficult and requires some planning, and then encouraging them to discuss it in character together. Nothing brings a party together as well as encourages role-playing as much as having to plan out your next battle or quest, whatever it is that you're doing. Having to work together to plan for that is going to give them an opportunity to role play those moments. But again, be careful that you're not forcing them to try to role play if they're seeming uncomfortable with it. It's something that you want to encourage, not force. And in that regards, I think that it's very important that you give them the opportunity, not force them into a box. Um, but with NPCs, if you're looking to get your players to interact more with the NPCs, you have to give them a in-game reason to do so. For example, a lot of the game involves exchanging currency for upgraded items, magic items, things like that. And a lot of DMs will just kind of arbitrarily allow players to shop without, you know, giving them the opportunity to role play that. And in order to encourage them to do so, what you want to do is make it to where they can only haggle on prices by doing it via role playing. Um, Also, handing out side quests and information through NPCs is another great way to encourage them to interact with the NPCs more. They might go to a town, come across, you know, farmers, caravan merchants traveling back and forth across the road, and without a solid reason to stop and talk to them, they're not going to. But if your players know that if they stop and talk to the farmer, they can get rumors, information, you know, side quests, then they're far more likely to, you know, call out to the NPCs, flag them down, try to talk to them, as well as, you know, they will definitely interact more with any major NPCs that you kind of, you know, put in their face, so to speak. When you have the local sheriff, for example, you know, come up and talk to them, they're going to be far more inclined to role play that out and get whatever information or reward there was for speaking with the sheriff, because they know that those are the kind of situations that you're going to put them in. So, you know, all of those are ways of doing it, but I think that the most important aspect of this question and answer is that you take away from it not to punish a lack of role playing. I know that there are some very avid role playing games out there. There is nothing wrong with a super dedicated, heavy role playing group as long as everybody's having fun. You know, that might not be the game for newer players, etc. And so those DMs aren't going to be taking this advice the same way. But then again, they don't really need the advice if they already have a group that is avid about role playing and want to, you know, role play everything more than even roll any dice. I've seen games like that, and there's a style for everybody. And if that's your style, great. But I feel like the majority of games are going to fall somewhere in between the two extremes of pure hack and slash monster grinding and no dice rolling, heavy role playing, you know, Game of Thrones style games. I feel most of them are going to fall, you know, somewhere on a spectrum between 2 and 9, between those two extremes. And those are the games where, you know, I would just caution you to keep a balance and not punish anybody for not role playing. Um, so that's it for today. I want to thank you guys all for watching. If you want to join the discussion with over 28,000 fellow DMs, please check out the Facebook group link below. And as always, good gaming.